to Debo, and then I noticed after practice, it seemed like you went through that exact same route, maybe 4, 5, 6 times. Is that something where you just like, hey, if I make a mistake, I want to kind of conquer it and correct it and try to rectify it before moving on?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with most of the throws, it was something I didn't feel super comfortable with, and that would be the case. It was just a weird look. Felt like didn't get his head around right away, and I should have just let it go. I didn't trust it, so that's on me. So yeah, definitely just try to continue to get better.
How has it been learning to trust your body? I mean, with all the recovery that you've had, different injuries, is it something that's a process for you?
Honestly, super thankful and super blessed to be healthy. I feel 100%. Don't even really feel my ankle or think about it out there at practice at all.
Do you feel like maybe even more so than your first 3 years here that the entire room is kind of bringing everybody along, helping everybody out?
Yeah, absolutely. And I credit that to our quarterback staff. Clint, Clay, and Coach Greasy have done a great job. Just like you said, bringing guys along. And I think our quarterback room, as you guys can see, is playing at a real high level.
Do you guys have fun in there? Or is it all just business?
It's a ton of fun. We got a fun group of guys. So it's been a ton of fun to get to know those guys, spend time with them in the building, outside of the building, and just get to know them as people.
Actually, then more trust with your receivers, like as you're going through the
Oh,
process.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Getting reps with a ton of different guys. Get reps with a bunch of guys I'll get reps with, in the preseason. So super excited for that. But yeah, it's been fun to watch these guys grow as well over the past 3 years, seeing how well Debo, George, and BA specifically are moving and catching the ball.
Trey, you're in a Kyle Shanahan, the way he runs training camp practices, how have they changed at all over your 3 years, and what little surprises does he throw in for you?
They really haven't. Schedule-wise, I think is the biggest thing that dictates it. Going to Vegas next week will be different for us having a week 1 joint practice rather than week 2. But for the most part, yeah, it's been pretty consistent.
You mentioned a couple times that you guys get along and see each other outside the building in the quarterback room. Are there things you guys do, mini golf, top golf, anything like that?
We do dinners for the most part. It's hard during camp, but as we get going into the preseason, for sure, we'll get more time to spend together.
What do you get out of these joint practices with the Raiders and last year with the Vikings?
Yeah, just going against a different defense, seeing different looks, being able, for our offense and defense, it's nice to be able to go against someone else for sure.
Do you do any prep work as far as understanding the kind of coverages you're going to see, or do you don't go? Do you go in game planning a little bit?
No, we don't game plan. I guess that's more of a question for Kyle. But preseason games, typically over the last 2 years, we don't really game plan. But yeah, definitely going in, having watched some tape and at least know what to expect, not necessarily going in blind.
Trey, your situation is a little different than your first 2 years here. Is there less, I guess, in a way, is there less pressure, like in a good way?
I guess I wouldn't put it that way. For me, nothing's changed. The last 3 years, I feel like I've attacked it the same way. I feel like I'm in a much better spot, myself personally this year than I have been the past 2 years. But mindset-wise, mentally for me, I feel like if I'm not putting that same pressure on myself in practice, then that make games a lot harder. We're good? Awesome.
Cool. Well, all right, thank you.
Actually, Trey,
Lost the
could
boss,
you
man.
smile with that real quick?
Thanks.
How's everything been feeling so far? Getting back, you had a lot of reps today.
Yeah, today was good. Good high day, a lot of good reps. Just the full speed, the pass rush, the linebackers going in a different direction, and just everything going through reads and stuff. It's been really good for me to just get my eyes on moving parts and going through progressions and stuff. So it's been good.
How's the endurance on your arm feel?
Yeah, feels good. Yeah, no. Second day in a row of throwing and everything, just like I've been doing really the past month. Arm feels good. Feels like I can continue to keep going. Like we said before, we have a plan of, hey, we're throwing 2 days on, 1 day off, so we're just sticking to that and going from there. But arm feels really good.
With everything so kind of, like you said, the plan for your arm and stuff, does Kyle keep you off balance a little bit with some of the ways he calls plays in practice? Like you may not know what's coming at times?
Yeah, I feel like they do a good job, of challenging me with just play calls and everything like that. He doesn't do anything extremely out of the ordinary. It's just the flow of the game, how he calls plays. So when he's calling plays off script, for me it's a good challenge at practice, and so it's stuff that I have to continue to work on and chip away at. But it's early in camp, and these are things that we got to continue to work on. So, yeah.
Kyle had said that maybe a couple weeks into camp you would be able to be no restriction. You could go 3 days in a row. Is that still kind of the plan or the hope? Could that happen as soon as next week?
Yeah, we'll see. We got to finish out this week first, and then sort of talk about some things and go from there. But as of now, we're just doing the 2 days on, 1 day off, and going from there and throwing, see how I feel. Feel great. So we just got to just see where we're at the end of this week. And see.
For you mentally, is there any sort of big hurdles or boxes that, taking the first hit, things like that you're looking forward to just kind of getting out of the way still at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, it's like I feel like normal when I'm out there. So I feel like I just got to get into a rhythm and play and go through progressions and just play quarterback. And it's not really, hey, I have to get tackled here just so I feel good about my arm. There's nothing like that goes through my mind. So I just play football, I go through my reads, and I feel normal. So it's not like I'm out there timid or scared about a certain hit or anything like that. So honestly, I feel good.
So when Cleve Farrell caught you on the arm the other day, and Kyle admitted that he had a lump in his throat just for a second, to you it was nothing?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as a coach or a teammate watching, yeah, they might be scared about that, especially how things ended last year with my arm. But honestly, for myself, it's just football. I wasn't even thinking about it. He hit the ball out of my hand, and I was going through to finish the throw, and the ball ended up being on the ground. That's football, And so, was I mad at Cleveland or anything like that? I told him, I'm like, dude, it's football. I get it. We're in a competing environment. Things happen. But for myself, was I scared about it? Was I timid after that? No. That's just part of the game.
Timid even, but so much. But all right, I got through that. Not even that.
Honestly, I wasn't even thinking that. Yeah, I was more concerned with the read and hitting the open guy and all that kind of thing. And then he hit it, and I was like, oh shoot, he got through. I wasn't even like, oh shoot, he hit my arm, or nothing like that. So that's the honest truth.
How do you approach training camp? Do you look at it clinically, or at the end of the day, do you go, oh, today was a good day or a bad day? Do you label it like that as far as just how you performed and what you saw and how you were able to deliver the football?
Yeah, I mean, I just look at it as a process. The first day you come in, you're not going to be all pro and be, killing it right off the get-go. It's like a process of the formations, the operation, getting on track with guys, the receivers being on time and rhythm. And then from there you progress. And so where we're at in camp right now, for me, it's like, yeah, if you have a good day, great, but I have to continue to, try to stress myself and get to another level. If it's a bad day and you wish you would have been better, okay, good. But again, you got to continue to try to get to the next level the next day. And so it's a long process, So that's how I look at it. That way, it keeps me level-headed. I'm not too high and I'm not too low with some things. I just understand I have to keep growing and keep climbing.
How were these last 2 days?
Last 2 days, I say we're pretty good. There's some things that obviously I have to learn from and get better, and some things that I can continue to build off of and have confidence in. So for myself, I feel like I could be better in some areas, just playing faster with the game and stuff, get into a better rhythm, and sort of just get in and out of the huddle better in the operation. Like that's for me. The last couple of days, I feel like can be better.
What have you seen from Brandon? What have you seen from Brandon out there? He looks incredible.
Yeah, I think Brandon's doing a great job going through reads, and you could just see the veteran in him. I feel like he's been in situations a lot throughout his career, and you can tell when he's out there, like he knows where to go with the ball, and he's very smart, and he's confident. Brandon, he goes out there and lets it rip. So he's doing a great job.
Brock, what was your reaction when you said that news about the betting scandal that involved some of your college teammates?
Yeah, that's sort of sad to hear. Just I played with a lot of those guys and stuff. I feel for them, and at the end of the day, they're gonna end up doing what they have to do, and as a program as a whole, hopefully, they'll move forward and be just fine. Coach Campbell does a great job with leading those guys through adversity, and they got a great culture there. So, they'll be just fine.
Yesterday, Coach was asked about your progression. I think it was yesterday, and he just happened to say, "Brock's the real deal." Just wondering what that means to you in terms of a vote of confidence. I don't know how much you pay attention to when he has press conferences, but he rarely uses words like that and statements like that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but for myself, I know what I have to do. I have to get better in areas and keep chipping away and keep growing as an offense and keep pushing this offense to get to the level that we want to be. We all expect a lot of great things and high things out of ourselves this year, and so that's where I'm at. I'm trying to just continue to get on pace and on track with the receivers and skill guys and timing, and go from there. But yeah, the bar and the ceiling here is high, and we all expect that out of ourselves. We expect to be great, and yeah, that's how I look at it.
All right, thanks, guys. Thank you. We got Trey right here. Sorry.
We got a lot for you here.
Exactly.
How's camp going? Do you kind of see the improvements? Do you feel them when you're going through the offense and going through the film after a practice?
For sure. There's ups and downs to every camp, but I feel like we're continuing to improve in the areas that we need to, and at least from the offensive perspective, can't speak much on the defense, but I think as a team, we're improving every day. But it's all about watching the tape, and whether you have a good day or a bad day, it's how are you gonna watch the tape and get better from it.
How do you feel that you've grown and improved since coming here?
Say it one more time.
How do you feel that you've grown and improved your game since coming here?
Yeah, I feel like it's just everything's very clear and concise with how we read the plays, and I feel like I've been making good decisions. I've been taking care of the football, but I've also been making quick decisions, I think. So just got to continue to improve and study the way I have been, and keep up the good habits that I've been working to improve throughout camp.
Where are you in the process of fully learning the offense, and how difficult is that with this particular offense? And have you ever been exposed to anything quite like it?
Yeah, I mean, this is it's my fifth offense, I think, throughout my career, and but it's definitely once there's a lot of shifts, there's a lot of motions, a lot of different concepts as well. So it's just about getting used to it and hearing it, visualizing it, before you get in the huddle, and that's really it for me. And being able to see what the defense is doing pre-snap and really focus on that, as opposed to worrying about, oh, where's this guy again, and who am I getting the ball to on this play? So, I think that, yeah.
Sam, how does the mindset of a quarterback change in a practice situation when you're not going to take a hit, as opposed to a game situation where you most likely are going to take a hit?
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference. It's understanding kind of the protection and when it breaks down. I think in practice, obviously, you want to be able to sit in the pocket and make the throws and go through your reads. But in the game, instincts, at certain times got to take over. And like in practice, you can go from your first read to your second read to your third and make the throw. Whereas in games, more often you might feel a rush, or especially coming off the left side, you might feel something and it might make you flush. So that's something that we always got to continue to work on in quarterback drills, to continue to feel the pocket and have smaller movements in the pocket rather than forcing our way out of it.
Juszczyk was saying, he was talking about some of the differences in camp over the years, being with Kyle Shanahan, but he said one constant is that you never know what play you're going to get sometimes, that you're going to be, whoa, play you haven't repped, you don't even really know, maybe not that well, and he wants to see how you're going to do with it. Have you found that to be the case?
For sure, yeah. For instance, today, there was a play where, we were just kind of lining up in the same formation, same motion, and he called a play that we hadn't ran in probably a couple weeks. So yeah, it's in those move the ball periods where it's realistic football. You're going first, second, third down. He might, because he's just putting together, everything in his head. He doesn't have a call sheet right there, so he's just calling a play that comes to his mind.
Is that different than what you've been through in the past? Or extreme, maybe?
I mean, I've been through similar situations during camp where you do move the ball periods and the offense coordinator can just call whatever, especially when you get through all the installs, which we have. You get through all the installs and then everything's available in those move the ball periods.
What's been your history with joint practices, and what are you looking forward to next week against the Raiders?
Yeah, it's nice to go against different scheme, different players. So that's always a bonus. And then all the competitiveness, I guess, that comes along with it is always a fun thing for quarterbacks to enjoy.
is he doing that's making it so easy for every quarterback to connect with?
Yeah, he's just crisp. He's very consistent in his route running. So, yeah, I think that's huge. And then obviously we know what he does with the ball, once he gets it after the catch. So, he's continuing to play at a high level throughout camp, and, that consistency is going to be huge throughout the season.
Over the years, several players, offensive players, have complimented Kyle's system by saying that he communicates it really well to where every position knows the full picture. Have you found that to be helpful in your learning of the offense, that a receiver might know more than about the whole system than at one of your previous stops, for example?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, I don't want to compare it to any of my previous stops, but I think the biggest thing is just everyone understanding, because the receivers are very involved in the run game, which I know is huge in this offense for asking receivers to be able to block linebackers and block down safeties, obviously, and being able to understand the verbiage that allows us to do that, and then have, Trent or whoever on a corner. So it's everyone kind of understanding their role in the run game, and that makes the pass game that much easier. Thanks, guys.